Welcome, welcome. You're watching The Social Network. Now, what better way to live a democracy than to hear the voices of the people? And that's exactly what's happened across Delhi University today. 60 colleges have held a referendum on the FYUP, or the Four-Year Undergraduate Programme, which many say was very hurriedly introduced and serves no purpose at all. In fact, these are the kind of scenes that you saw outside all the colleges today. Let's get a total figure on how many people actually voted. There's a vote card over there. There's a card which says the number of people who voted and said no was more than 10,000 people. The number of people who said yes was just under 1,000. And the total number of people who came out and voted was over 11,000. Remember, this is a fairly significant fraction of the around 50,000 first-year students who had to accept the FYUP as a part of their curriculum starting July 2013. So that's what we discussed on The Social Network today. Who's afraid of the referendum? We've got with us on the panelists today, let me just quickly introduce everybody. We've got with us Naveen Gaur, who's a physics professor in the Dayal Singh College. We've got with us Mr. Prakash Narayan, who is an associate professor of history from the PGDAV College. Saikat Ghosh, who is from the DUTA, executive member. But before we go back to our show, I just quickly want to hand over to Vishnu for some breaking news.
Well, news now coming in of some important statements which have been made by the British High Commissioner to India. He says an engagement of Narendra Modi is not necessarily an endorsement of the Gujarat Chief Minister. This comes at a time when parliamentarians from the United Kingdom have invited Narendra Modi to speak in the British Parliament. My colleague Sunetra Chaudhary joins us now for more on this. Sunetra, is this in a sense a clarification made by the British High Commissioner? Because there was a sense that that Great Britain continued to reach out, perhaps a pragmatic gesture, that's what some British leaders would call it, to continue to reach out to Narendra Modi.
Vishnu, actually I have details of, which is also coming in, of exactly what Anil Ambani said in court, due to which the court has now declared him hostile.
All right, Sunetra, just two pieces of information therefore coming in. I'm sorry to be confusing issues, but go ahead with the information that you have.
Okay, this is quite significant because Anil Ambani, if we just look at the statement and the court order and the details of which have just come in now, we're getting to see exactly what ADAG head Anil Ambani, whose wife Tina Ambani is also set to depose in the CBI court, said in their statement. And if you just look at it, two very significant departures. First of all, Anil Ambani was examined by CBI when the CBI was looking into the entire case of 2G. He was examined along with A. Raja, who's been declared the former telecom minister, who has been declared as the main accused in the case, who's being tried in it. Now, Anil Ambani, whose company ADAG and executives of it are also being made accused in the case, came because he was made a prosecution witness, went back on two of his statements. I can now tell you the details of what those two statements are. First of all, to CBI and CBI's testimony, he said, I do not admit Swan Telecom was a Reliance ADA group company. So he acknowledged the company Swan Telecom, which was accused to be a front company for ADAG, for his own company. He said, but it's not associated, is not a Reliance ADA group company. Today, when he was confronted with that statement, he said, I am not aware of any company by the name of Swan Telecom. That's a significant departure there. Second point, at that time he said, I have also submitted to you a detailed note. The same may also be treated as part of my statement. But today he refused and he said, I have not handed over any note to you. And that is why today the judge in this case said, and in fact the CBI prosecutor asked him, are you aware of the consequences of going back on it? Are you doing it under any pressure? And he said, no, I'm not doing any under pressure. And they also asked to cross-examining him because they said he was resiling or going back on his statement.
All right, Sunetra, thanks very much for joining us with all of those details. We'll continue to track that story very, very closely. Let's just go back now to Kashish.
All right, so one of the students who actually voted against the FYUP, we've got with us Kamran from Venkateshwara College. Kamran, very quickly tell me why you joined college this year, Delhi University this year. You're from Andaman Nicobar Islands. Why did you vote against the FYUP?
Well, the course of the FYUP itself, the fourth year, is highly unnecessary, and it's wholly based on the implementation of the foundation courses for the first and second year.
So what is the problem with the foundation course?
The foundation course has been very elementary. It has been preposterously elementary. You see the every aspect of the foundation course has been implemented just to impede us, and there has been a dissolvement from the discipline courses that we are supposed to study.
So you're thinking basically it's a waste of time in a sense, right? Okay, I'm going to take that across to Mr. Prakash Narayan. Sir, you know, one of the biggest criticisms that's come against the FYUP has been the fact that why this useless foundation course? Nobody needs it. We've done it in school. Why do it over and over?
So first thing I'd like to know, you just asked me and invited that there is a discussion on the referendum. May I know the organization which has organized this referendum? Because so far as the discussion on the FYUP is concerned, we are probably not here for a discussion on the FYUP. This is what had been conveyed through you and your people, that this referendum is here today. The result of the referendum will be out, and so you people be there if you can. So